Hi, and thanks for joining us for Energizer number 507. The weekly portion is Yisro. I'd like to share with you a highlight about the life of Rabbi Tzemach Shlomovitz. Rabbi Tzemach Shlomovitz was a great Torah teacher who was a student of the student of Rabbi Yisrael Salanter. He was a student of Rabbi Simcha Zisel of Kelm. And he also 2 years studied closely under Rabbi Yisrael Salanter himself. When Rabbi Tzemach passed away, one of the rabbis who eulogized him said that he was a living Torah scroll. But what kind of a scroll? Some Torah scrolls are written and there are mistakes that are found, needs to be repaired. Sometimes the writing of the Torah is not so beautiful. But imagine the beauty of this Torah, which was written by Rabbi Yisrael Salanter and Rabbi Simcha Zisel of Kelm. In other words, they inspired him and they educated him to become the giant living Torah scroll. A while later, there was a group of people who gathered together at the place where Rabbi Tzemach had lived in Jerusalem, and they were discussing his greatness, and they were focusing on this statement that was made at his funeral, that he was a perfect Torah scroll. And they all discussed. One rabbi says, you know why he was a perfect Torah scroll? Because I studied with him. And at the end of his life, he was blind. And he knew all the Talmud by heart. That's a living Torah scroll. The owner of the house where Rabbi Tzvi lived, she said, excuse me, I'm sorry, I apologize, but I can tell you why he was a living Torah scroll, a perfect Torah scroll. You see, he lived here for 18 years. And during those 18 years, he ate here and he paid for his meal. Every meal he paid for immediately, on time. And there was not one time in all the 18 years that he did not clean off the table and come into the kitchen and say to me, this dinner was so beautiful, so delicious. And you know what also? There were times when things were spilled. I remember one time there was a whole bunch of salt spilled and he was the one who came and cleaned it up. This is a perfect Torah scroll. God gave us the 10 Commandments on 2 tablets. The 2 tablets, the first 5 are laws between man and God. The second 5 on the second tablet, those are laws between man and man. Rabbi Sadia Gaon explains that God gave us these laws, 2 sections, both laws together, to remind us that you can't have one without the other. One can't be pristine in his relationship with God and fail in his relationship with his fellow man. One can't be meticulous in his relationship with God and not be meticulous for the concern, to be concerned for the feelings in great detail for his fellow man. This week's portion, we learned of the giving of the Torah on Sinai and the 10 Commandments. We can't have one without the other. Let us strive as much as possible. We may not be the living Torah scroll of Rav Tzemach, but we have to strive. There's a law in the Torah that everyone has to write their own Torah. Let us write our Torah, the Torah of our lives, and strive to excel in the laws of man to God and man to man. Have a fabulous Shabbos.